Greetings. Recently, on a recovery healing group that I've been a member of for a good amount of time, I noticed a rise in people posting pictures of their ex-partners, who they claim are narcissists. I see this behaviour being very problematic. Even if they are, what good is it for healing to fuel the resentment? So I said, I don't think we need to share pictures of our exes. I get people may want to shame, but this is petty behaviour. Granted, I could have worded it a bit better, but it probably wouldn't have mattered if I did. I had hoped admin would have said something, so I wouldn't have felt the need to take it upon myself. As one would post a picture, others would join in posting theirs, setting up a chain reaction. After taking the time to reply to each and every comment to explain myself, the thread was removed. I suppose it was beginning to get hysterical with the nasty comments people were leaving in response, but I maintained my composure, which probably frustrated them even more. The majority do not want to look at their behaviour. They want justice, validation, blood. They then blame shift to what I said to try and invalidate my point, something a narcissist would do. As one might imagine, the people getting nasty don't like what I have to say, and the people I've helped show their gratitude. During my time in that group, my interactions were usually in reply to comments. I don't aim to get people with abusive tendencies removed. It's actually a little disappointing. Those situations can be quite educational, and they become lost. In the rare instance where I did make a thread, I asked the group, in response to the allegations of me being a narcissist, to cast their judgment on me. The response was a pleasant surprise, as quite a few showed their appreciation, including at least one of the admin who understood I was there to educate and bring awareness. I could do a video on that as I have it saved. Later I said, I appreciate people are hurt. Please read my replies in the comments and to calm down. It was hard for me to keep up with replying and repeating myself. They got even more upset, as if they wanted to be emotionally out of control. How dare I tell them to calm down? Really, I shouldn't need to be telling people to do that. No one else was trying to de-escalate the situation, and what else was I supposed to say to someone having a meltdown? After my thread was removed, a couple of the members took it upon themselves to each start a new thread to continue bashing me indirectly and cry victim. So I continued to explain myself. There was a person, however, who made a thread pointing out that they are cyberbullying. So I made a thread to say thank you to this person. The hatred towards her was disgusting, and people questioned me as to why I would thank her. She was accused of being a troublemaker. Soon after, I was exiled. If we have time, I'll cover that in the transcript. The tribe, as they like to be called for short, thinking exposing narcissists is a good idea. They spoke before about making a database just like a sex offender list. I think they would be livid if I posted their picture or their names. So it's alright for them to do it, but don't do it to them. A double standard. The community was supposed to be a safe place. The group thinks of themselves as warriors, slayers, winners, having superpowers, and other words of splendor. Meanwhile, they'll often dehumanize the narcissists as disgusting evil demons and laugh at them, saying you deserve far better. These are empaths, remember. Kind, soft, loving, supportive souls. The empath sure does like to think highly of themselves. Sadly, they are not above corruption. Many people have pointed out the group is filled with narcissists, which isn't a surprise, as communities are a hotspot full of vulnerable people. The idea of an empath is someone who is a giver, who wants to make people happy. The narcissist hides among the noble to elevate their virtue and extract the fuel so easily given. What gets me is it happens right in front of the admin. The people posting pictures are nowhere significant in their recovery, perhaps newcomers. And the admin allow themselves to be manipulated as henchmen. The community, around 60,000, does not have enough experienced members. There are a few, but their voices are drowned out during discourse. People may say I'm being spiteful, bitter, or I'm trying to get them shut down. No, I do not want to get them shut down. If I were, I would be hurting innocent people as well. I'm not sharing the full name of the group or YouTube channel out of respect, but I will be posting a link for them pointing to this video for the owner to see. I'm just hoping the toxicity within the group is addressed. Why was this expected to happen? When caught in anger or rage, which they admit to, it is harder to have self-awareness. That alone is already reason to take pause. In addition, it is going to prevent seeing repercussions. Without self-awareness, the ego becomes the identity, and they depend on it for protection. They, along with the ego, don't want to think of it as being petty. With self-hate, the ego says to the inner self, "You have brought me shame instead of prestige." To rectify the pain that the ego has communicated, they outsource. I am substituted, blamed for parts of the ego they cannot face. With this blame shift, they become the victim to my abuse. They can now attack me in defense of the ego, instead of being angry at the ego's unreasonable demands for reassurance. This need is what led to follow-up threads continuing to bash me. It all goes into believing it will make the ego feel better, and in turn, they can feel better. See how it works? Destroying me, however, won't make any difference. It won't bring them happiness, nor will posting pictures. They become stuck, alone with a tyrant of an ego for company. This is a battle they are having with themselves, and so the interaction with me isn't anything personal. To medicate, they need people to be angry at, until there's no one left to blame but themselves, at which point they'll just blame the world. And this is how they can call it healing. They have no intention of addressing their behaviour. They do not see it being a problem. They are not going to stand up against the thing that is protecting them. This is the selfish nature of the ego. It doesn't care about others, or even the welfare of that individual, and it will continue to act selfishly if it is not kept in check. The admin, probably trying to restore harmony, likely felt the best way was to pacify the bullies and sacrifice me as a token gesture. It might be under the guise of serving the community, but it can easily be a selfish act of saving their own skin. It doesn't look good if many of the members are exposed as toxic. With me labelled as the troublemaker, the admin believed removing me will solve the issue. Those making the most noise and throwing a tantrum usually bully their way. Unfortunately, it means the admin are stuck with the abusers who will continue to exploit the community and drag it down. I now have the opportunity to say something about it, and I'm no longer part of that community. So not only is it an attempt to hurt me, but it also hurts those who found my contributions helpful, and they hurt themselves as well. When we balance those in need with those who want to be spoiled, we can see calling it petty is putting it mildly. The actions of the admin cement that, helping to prove my point. All this damage, for what gain? So, going from memory, some of their arguments put forward. They said, I'm siding with the narcissist, whilst they look for people to side with them. They see it as a competition. They said, I am a narcissist, I show narcissists more empathy. I'm advising not to become narcissistic. They are amused at the idea of victims being narcissists. They said, I'm not helping anyone. Not true, just the ones who want to be abusive. They said, for my mental health, maybe I should leave. I should just scroll past things I don't like. Yet they didn't do that, and I didn't tell them to leave. They said, they have every right to do it. What's wrong with doing it? Doing it is right. Who am I to judge? To that I say hypocrites. They said, they can heal however they want. An example of a half-truth. So let them do anything they please. What if this was my way of healing, and then said, you can't tell me how to heal? Restrictions for me, but not for thee. They said, I'm putting them down, being insensitive, judgmental, whilst they are doing this to other people. They said, it might help someone avoid this person. This is searching for reasons, and it can cause more trouble. But I think the most telling statement is, this is their real life. Quite a weird thing to say. Are they talking about the photo or the feeling it brings? Perhaps it's a euphemism for when the mask slips and reveals their true nature. So being spiteful is their real life. I think they would reply with, they want to show people their pain. They sure did that, which is quite sad, really. Level-headed comments didn't matter to the abusers. They still wanted blood. Now, here are my reasons for why posting pictures is a bad idea, and what I was trying to tell them. I understand the initial desire to want vengeance, to be heard, to expose. A person who self-reflects will come to realize continuing like this isn't healthy. How does this get them justice if it's behind the ex's back? This is cowardly. Trying to drag other people into rage is selfish and makes it other people's responsibility to carry, which is perhaps what they want. It steers people away from healthier ways of healing. You're supposed to be distancing yourself from the narcissist. What happened to boundaries? Pictures are honoring the narcissist. They would enjoy knowing you are still hurt, thinking of them, and still have their picture. This is a form of self-harm. This feeds anger, not remove it. This is not healing. This is holding on and not letting go. There are other ways to relieve anger. Sadly, many don't get past it. It becomes consuming, and they believe this is the best way to manage it. It only triggers yourself and others to think about their exes. You end up self-gaslighting. Because narcissists like to play victim and accuse the actual victim for the abuse, these could be photos of victims. By going after them in such a way, running a smear campaign, triangulating people, and displaying hatred, you make yourself look like the narcissist. Just because you're injured doesn't give you the right to seek an eye for an eye. No consideration given about how it could impact the narcissist, perhaps business they work for, the new supply, their families and viewers. Narcissists can't help what they are doing. Victims, on the other hand, with awareness, can. If they can't control this behaviour, what does that say? It's up to you what you decide. You define the kind of person you want to be. After posting and getting your dopamine, where does it get you? Are you any happier? Are you still stuck with your anger? Does being angry with me help? What is wider society going to think about survivors? Is the world going to say what I did is bad, like they did? By being aggressive, they put themselves into a box for the world to see. I don't know if this is what they call karma. It makes victims no better than narcissists. A sensible person appreciates insight because it helps them to grow. Not the case for abusers. You're free to tell me the plus side of posting pictures and how it's good for your healing. Leave it in the comments. So what is it they want? And what have we learnt? Despite their mantra, many are far from being as moral as they claim. They target groups to garner attention, gain power, superiority, corrupt, manipulate, recruit, and hoover vulnerable people into harems. The majority are consumed by their hurt and avoidant of actual healing. Communities like these are a rich source of unprotected supply. They are looking for people to cater to their emotions and ego. There have been threads where they state the group is full of beautiful people, fishing for compliments, and try to turn it into a dating platform. Not something you'd expect from people trying to heal, but it is something you'd expect from narcissists. Many pretend it's about helping people when really it's about serving their own needs. They want to deceive. Many modern trendy banners, movements, seem to be doing this. Let's fight racism by being racist. Let's fight sexism by being sexist. Let's fight for freedom by locking people up. There are so many examples. We have coined the term clown world, where the opposite of what is said is true. If you understand narcissism, you'll understand why the hypocrisy. It stems from the need to pathologically lie, to deny and control. In their mind, if they are honest, they will get caught out. So by pretending to do the total opposite and overcompensate, they will be able to get away with it and no one will suspect. These abusive members are the ones who undermine and are nefarious. They are celebrated whilst they make a mockery of the admin and community and turn it into a circus. The more they can disrupt and cause disorder, drama, the more they can extract fuel, and the more normalized it is. It becomes their personal playground. The group's appearance takes more precedence than dealing with the toxic members within it, or the well-being of people who are vulnerable. A very dangerous environment for people trying to heal. People who expose and embarrass the group bring criticism and shame. If you are blunt, they will use that as an opportunity to deflect and accuse you of being mean. I might be kicked out, but I still have my respect and dignity. As wider society learns of the corruption within these groups, will it then be the judge if they are healthy or a toxic breeding ground? The cost is they lose their integrity. You do not need to be a professional to know this is not how you go about healing. In my opinion, when groups get to a certain size, there needs to be experienced people that can manage and guide the group instead of allowing the blind to lead the blind. People who think they have awareness or morals can still be manipulated to fall in line with abusive acts. They unknowingly do as instructed to avoid responsibility, guilt, conflict, and for other reasons. I understand the desire to be around people who have experienced similar things, but caution should be taken that the choice in company isn't magnifying their distress. If someone cannot be responsible for their own healing, they need intervention. Relying on emotionally unstable people as a mentor is iffy. Sad truth, not everyone is going to recover, as demonstrated, and this is an example of why you cannot expect someone to change if they are closed-minded. The incapable are more likely to double down. Although trying to give them a chance, I was doing it mainly for the ones who show potential to change. As Martin Luther King said, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws or unjust behaviours. Protect the mind, because this can either happen to you, where you become abusive, or you become the victim of it. So what do I expect to happen? Not much. I doubt they'll invite me back. Apologize? No way. I'm the villain in this story. I doubt there'll be a change in policy. I doubt those members will get removed. I expect they'll dislike my video. I expect the only thing they'll take away from this video is being fixated on the word petty. Maybe it could trigger the start of self-reflection. I expect people trying to heal will continue to be misguided, but I hope vulnerable people without malicious intent will be more careful dealing with community groups. As communities grow, they become harder to regulate. The more predators, abusers will try to infiltrate, and the more likely the group will implode. The abuser can say whatever they like. It doesn't change the fact of what they are doing. Narcissists are only going to admit fault if it can serve their need. I am a firm believer of learning from our mistakes or the mistakes of others. Really, all of this is a lesson in mindfulness. Should the owner of the community be watching? I have nothing against you personally or the purpose of your community. The abusive members admit to what they are up to, and deep down they know it's not right. Listen to their feeble excuses. Behind closed doors, they know they can get away with it. They're the ones who put you in an awkward position. They are the ones giving empaths a bad name and leading them down a dark path. You're the one protecting them and rewarding their bad behavior. Why aren't you protecting the vulnerable instead? Even with my now ghostly spirit, I still owe it to the ones trying to heal to say something about it. At least I give a damn about their healing. Whoever it was who decided to boot me, decided it was better to spit in my face along with the people actually wanting and deserving help, in favour of people who have demonstrated their narcissism. You've betrayed the innocent, and you have lost my respect. You might decide to delete my comment or ignore it. It's okay if you do. I understand damage control. It will just show an unwillingness to be transparent with your audience, and the people on your platform are not allowed freedom to say what's on their mind. So much for a safe place. In closing, they say awareness should be shared, so kindly please share this video. We should all be careful with communities we are part of. Statistically, there will be more unhealthy people than you realize, and if you are not exercising critical thinking, you could be one of them. If someone is dodgy, don't ignore the red flags. I'll do a separate video for the transcripts. Until then, be on your guard and take care.